Hello, I'm Tom Anglin. Thanks for joining me for this 12th edition of Refocus Fridays. Our subject today is the Great Exchange. The great missionary to China, Hudson Taylor, said this: "At the timberline where the storms strike with the most fury, the sturdiest trees are found." In other words, the power of the storm beating against the trees caused the trees' roots to go down much deeper, and through that they became stronger. And though those trees may have felt weak in that powerful wind, because those roots went deeper, they became strong. It's like that in our walk with God. God allows sometimes difficulties and hardships and grievous things to take place in our life. All that He's intending is that we would go deeper in Him, and that from our weakness, we would exchange it for His strength. Paul said it like this in 2 Corinthians 12:9. Speaking of Jesus, he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." Paul says, "Therefore, most gladly I will rather boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities," which are sicknesses, "reproaches, in needs, persecutions, distresses, for Christ's sake. For when I'm weak, then I'm strong." The apostle had learned something very valuable. He could exchange his inabilities for Christ's ability. He could exchange his weakness for Christ's strength. He could exchange his brokenness for Jesus' wholeness, which He's come to bring to all of us that will receive Him. This passage has a really deep meaning to me. I've seen some real difficult storms in my life. Maybe some of you have read my book, and it is a book of a documentation of many miraculous things that the Lord did on our behalf. We wouldn't have seen so many miraculous things had it not been we were in such great need so many times. It wasn't fun to go through, but on the victory side of things, there was a whole lot of shouting and glorifying God. So we need to learn that we can gain so much through loss, even through difficulties, through perilous times, even at times. And so we learn that in our darkest hour that Jesus will be there for us. And through these things, I've gained so much, things that are invaluable, things that I could never acquire any other way. But it was through these hard places that I learned of what a great shepherd that I've been granted through Jesus Christ. And so Paul made this statement: when I'm weak, then I'm strong. So be of good cheer. If you're going through a place where you feel you're so weak you can't go on, just call on the name of the Lord Jesus. Lean on Him and exchange that weakness for His great strength. And He has made you more than conquerors in this situation. Isaiah said it like this: He gives power to the faint, and to them that have no might, He increases strength. We can say in all these things, friend, we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. Let me tell you about a day when I exchanged my total inability for belief. God asked me this question: can you believe? Let me give you the context. We were going through a very, very difficult time financially in our church here, the Bridge Church in Spruce Pine, North Carolina. Our outgo was much greater than our income. And there was not much we could do about it but pray and call on the Lord. And so one day when I was at my breaking point, and I was bent down over the couch in my prayer room, and I was saying, "God, if I had the money, I'd pay these bills. I would, but I don't have the money, and I can't do this, and I can't do that." And I was whining and carrying on. And in the middle of my tears, Jesus said to me, "Can you believe?" And I stopped my whimpering for a moment, and I said, "Yes, I guess I can." That was all He said. Later that afternoon, I was called upon to go to a funeral, a visitation, and I asked our worship pastor to open the service for me, that I was going to be late coming to the service, but I would be there. And I was hurrying in the back of the sanctuary, and my wife stopped me and she said, remind me, I've got something important to tell you after you speak tonight. And I said, is it bad? And she said, no, it's not bad. It's good, but I just can't tell you right now. It might mess with you. I said, okay. So I was kind of preoccupied by that, and I shared the Bible study. And after it was over, I couldn't wait to say, what good news have you got? What happened? And she said, oh, well, by the way, while you were out this afternoon, someone dropped off a check for $15,000. I said, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. That's all God asked me to do. He just asked me to believe. Friend, that's all He's asking you to do. Whatever you're going through, just put your faith. Just lean into Him. Just trust Him. Just know He's going to come through for you. He's good, and He shows up for everyone that calls on Him. He never disappoints the ones that put their trust in Him. He's not usually early, but He's never going to be late. His timing is perfect. He hasn't forgotten you. He's not going to drop you. He's going to bring you through this. You're more than a conqueror. Do you have some weaknesses today, some difficulties that you can exchange for Christ's strength? I'm sure you do. God bless you. Thanks for joining me. Hope you'll join me next Friday. Have an awesome weekend.